how does cryptocurrency work?
But Indian households, Indian women are known to accumulate gold despite government not liking it. It is not easy to issue your own currency. So this is the first cryptocurrency which is not issued by government, which is Bitcoin.
So, what does crypto mean in the word cryptocurrency?
So yes, all the markets has a different risk and different risk gives the different returns.
Okay, so you are a little adventurous with money, I can say. Crypto is everywhere, from Bitcoin to blockchain. It has been shaking up finances and challenging traditional systems. But what does it all this mean for the future of money? We will be diving into it today with Mr. Jinesh Shah. Mr. Shah is an entrepreneur with 14 plus years of experience in finance, tech, and crypto. He has worked with billionaires, has managed multi-million investment projects, and has also founded Ahimsa Capital, where he handles crypto portfolios of HNI clients. Jinesh has been in the crypto game since 2016, and he's here today with us to share his insights on how this revolution is transforming our financial world. If you want to know basics of crypto, what's next for finance, and why crypto matters, then this episode is for you. So let's dive into it. Hi Jinesh, how are you?
I'm fine, Rashmita. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for doing this podcast with us on crypto and Bitcoin and the whole new world of currency.
Sure. I'm sure it will be interesting and good learning.
Yes, because my knowledge in crypto is near to zero, and here I have today you as our guest who knows a lot about this, who actually excels in this field. So let's start this conversation.
Sure. I'm looking forward to it.
So let's start with the basic question. How does cryptocurrency work? और blockchain का इसमें क्या role होता है?
Blockchain is the backbone, or I would say it's the technology layer of the cryptocurrency. Whereas what you hear and what you know about crypto, that is Bitcoin, Ethereum, they are the front end or the consumer facing part of the cryptocurrency. Whereas the blockchain is the technology layer which enables the cryptocurrency.
Okay, so what is Bitcoin? Because we hear a lot about Bitcoins, and how is it different from our Indian rupee?
So Bitcoin is the world's first cryptocurrency, and how is it different from our normal Indian rupee or Philippine peso or US dollar? It is different in a way that it is a private currency or it is a non-government currency. If you look at all the other currencies, whether it's US dollar, euro, Japanese yen, Indian rupee, they are all the currencies are issued by governments. So this is the first cryptocurrency which is not issued by government, which is Bitcoin. So it was started, or it was created by a person or a group of person called Satoshi Nakamoto, and it is not again backed by any government. No government is responsible for Bitcoin, whereas for Indian rupee, RBI is responsible. For US dollar, it is Fed who is responsible, but for Bitcoin, it's no government which is responsible for that currency. So it's the world's first private currency, and it is running on a technology called blockchain, and collectively it is called cryptocurrency.
Okay, so what does crypto mean in the word cryptocurrency?
Okay, it is not easy to issue your own currency because most government try to stop it, whether it's Indian government, whether it's US government, because governments like to keep monopoly on currency. That is why when you are in India, you cannot use dollar, you have to use Indian rupee. And that is what has been since last almost 60-70 years, or more than that, since the first central bank came up as a Bank of England. So all country wants to keep monopoly on their own currency, and it has been difficult for someone private to issue their own currency. Now, it was only technologically possible to issue your own currency and break this monopoly after the invention of a blockchain. And along with blockchain, the use of cryptography was required to make sure that governments are not able to stop this currencies. So Bitcoin was first to do that. Satoshi Nakamoto was first to invent blockchain and use cryptography to ensure that no government is able to stop it. And until now, that is almost 15 years since then, no government, whether it's US government or a Chinese government, has been able to stop Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is using cryptography as well as blockchain to make sure that this currency stays in circulation and people are able to use it without any permission or without any censorship. So cryptography is one of the building blocks along with the blockchain, which makes Bitcoin possible and many other thousands of cryptocurrencies possible.
Okay, thanks for explaining that. You said this kind of money cannot be regulated. For an example, the governments of all the countries across the world, they don't have control over this currency. So that means that then comes to my mind that it is unsafe. When it is not regulated or controlled by any country or a group of countries, then it's unsafe. But then why did you get interested in this unsafe kind of currency?
So it is very interesting, and as I said, I come from a finance background and I understand how this currency and that affects day to day everyone's life. So there have been speculations that what could replace US dollar as a international reserve, because if you see RBI, if you see Chinese central bank, if you see Japanese central bank, all of them hold lot of dollars and US treasuries. So in a way, they give a huge power to US government and US flag that gets exploited. So there is always a competition that Japanese yen, Chinese yuan, Indian rupee wants to internationalize and de-dollarize or take the first position of a dollar. But there have been speculations that none of this government issued currency, whether it's Chinese yuan, Japanese yen, or Indian rupee or euro, will be able to overtake or take the position of a dollar. There could be possibly a non-government, private, neutral currency that can possibly overtake dollar. And this has been my thesis during my MBA, and that is what I was kind of betting on or got interested into. So it's not getting regulated is not a bug. It's sometimes a feature. Even before Bitcoin, gold, which has been around 5,000 years old, has been a non-government currency or a money, and it has been around since 5,000 years. No stock or no real estate or no other form of investment or money has been around for 5,000 years. And anyone who made Bitcoin, whether it's a person or a group of person, had studied the gold very well. So they knew that, okay, if we want to build something which is non-government, which survives longer, they have to study something which has been able to do that without any help of a king or a government. And that has been gold. So gold, again, it's not regulated like Indian government and even other governments like in Turkey or in China. They hate gold. India, after oil, imports largest amount of gold, and that's why we have a 6 to 12% of a duty on importation of gold. Gold is something which no Indian government has liked, but Indian households, Indian women are known to accumulate gold despite government not liking it. So as you mentioned, why did I get into Bitcoin even when it's not regulated? So the answer is that, again, I understand finance, I understand currency, and again, as an Indian, I understand gold, especially physical gold, how important it is with respect to individual freedom and sovereignty. So yeah, that got me into Bitcoin, even when it's not regulated or it's not issued or backed by any government.
Okay, so you are a little adventurous with money, I can say. So you had mentioned when we talked about cryptocurrency, the first conversation, you mentioned that the first ATM. So when you say that this currency is not regulated, so what challenges or what threats do the international bodies or institutions see in cryptocurrency? according to you?
So it is both new technologies are very similar, like it is both opportunity as well as a threat. It is opportunity for people who are kind of marginalized, and it is a threat for institutions and people who are taking advantage of the old system. So again, the way I look crypto is no different from the way I look at how the evolution of internet has happened. I come from a small town, Jamnagar in Gujarat, India, and I remember it was difficult to buy a new book. Like, let's say if I wanted to read a book on Bill Gates by Bill Gates, it was difficult, and it is even difficult today to get a hands on a new books. But Flipkart and now Amazon has solved that problem. It became easier for anyone in small town to get a book. I remember purchasing a lot of books on Flipkart when it came in India in 2007-8. So something similar I felt when I used Bitcoin first. I was in Philippines and I was able to do a transaction of, let's say, somewhere around 100 200 rupees or pesos, and I was able to send Bitcoin to one of my friend in the other part of the globe, and it created a light bulb moment that, oh wow, like it's so easy to send money to someone across the globe so easily, especially when like a lot of Indians in Philippines used to face a problem of transferring their hard-earned money from Philippines to India. So that was kind of a light bulb moment for me to get into Bitcoin. And again, Philippines has been kind of very liberal in terms of regulation. The first regulated bank which had a Bitcoin ATM was in Philippines. It was just next to a place where I used to work. So yeah, again, that kind of positive environment helped me to understand and get more deep into the Bitcoin and crypto ecosystem.
Great. So apart from Philippines, are there any such ATMs in the world?
Yeah, Canada has a lot of Bitcoin ATMs. Even I'm sure Germany would have some Bitcoin ATMs as well. Berlin
Okay.
has been one of the crypto hub as well. So yes, you can find crypto ATMs in a lot of places like Thailand as well, Vietnam as well. So
Okay.
yeah, it's no different from a normal ATM. The only difference is you pay like the government fiat, whether it's Philippine peso or dollar or euro, and you get Bitcoin in your wallet.
Okay. This is very interesting. Something I never knew. I'll try. I'll search. Okay. So what I have understood until now is that crypto is all digital, right? It's on internet. Similarly, our Indian government also has digital bonds, our Reserve Bank of India. So how is crypto different from our digital currency that Reserve Bank of India has to offer to the people of India?
So, good question. How is Bitcoin or cryptocurrency different from RBI's CBDC? It is called Central Bank Digital Currency. So, a lot of central banks realized that the threat from the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, they saw that it's permissionless, it's global from day one. So, they wanted to have some product which can compete with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So, that is why RBI came up with e-rupee or CBDC to compete with the cryptocurrency. And the way it is different is that it is permission. Cryptocurrency are not permission. CBDCs are permission. Only people which RBI wants them to use can use CBDC. Like a Canadian or American or a person in Vietnam, they cannot use Indian CBDC. But Bitcoin, anyone can use it, very much like gold. Anyone in India, Philippines, US, Europe, Germany can use gold or Bitcoin. So they are neutral and permissionless. They are not controlled by any government or any central banks. So CBDC in a way is controlled by the issuing central bank or issuing government. So Thailand also experimented with CBDC, and again CBDC are programmable money. Like it is a great tool for a politician and a bureaucrat. So if they want to control the use of money, let's say if they want to say that okay, you go and watch this movie, otherwise this e-rupee or whatever the CBDC is there will get deleted or will get destroyed, that can be programmed. So similar experiments has been done in Thailand by Thai government, that this CBDCs are issued to some of the poor or people from non-privileged class, and they can either buy food with that, they can buy other groceries or other things which government wants to mandate or wants to make sure that those money is only used for those purposes. So in a way, it's a permission. So whatever government decides, that's the only use case it can be used. But that is not the case with physical gold or even a Bitcoin or even a cash. Cash also can be used for whatever use a person wants to do it.
And it's
So
multiple uses. I mean, CBDC, if you use once, then it's used. I think when you have cash, you can reuse. Like, I pay for something, that person gets the money, that person can use that money to buy his requirement.
yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So again, as you mentioned, it can be programmed. It can be programmed to expire. Let's say if you don't use this money, CBDC, it will expire within 1 week or 1 month or 6 months. So again, if let's say it expires in 1 year, that's like 100% inflation.
Yeah.
So that is
crazy.
That is yeah, so there is something which kind of gives a lot of power to politicians and bureaucrats, and that is something which is what Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies are trying to prevent. That they don't want 100% of the monopoly on digital currency as well with the governments.
Right. But so, for an example, I'm a politician, and the Central Bank of India or the Reserve Bank of India has issued in my name CBDC. Let's say 10,000 rupees, which is very low. If I don't use that sum of money, it gets deleted, for example, within a week. Does it go back to the source or it's just disappeared?
Again, nothing of similar thing has been done in India, but something similar what you are saying has been done in Thailand. And as far as my understanding is that it just disappears and it gets erased from your wallet.
Okay.
So you have a direct wallet with a central bank, and central bank credits those points or those currency in your wallet.
Okay.
And if there is some expiry date to that, then after that expiry date, your balance in the wallet will become zero. So practically, CBDC is your wallet with the central bank. The normal euro or normal Indian rupee, your account or the balance is with the bank, with ICICI Bank or Deutsche Bank or SBI or whatever. So if you see 10,000 rupees in your ICICI Bank, it's your balance with the ICICI Bank. But if you see e-rupee, which is 10,000 rupee, then that is with the central bank.
Interesting. I think you have covered a little part of this, but let me ask again. Is cryptocurrency legal in India? And what does Indian government think about it? Because I have read news, I think a couple of years ago, there was this debate of making cryptocurrency legal in India. It was quite a long discussion that happened, I think also in Rajya Sabha. So is this legal? Is it not legal?
Yeah. So India has a love and hate relationship with the cryptocurrency.
Okay.
So again, Indian government and politicians and bureaucrats understand the threat it poses. It's a short-term threat, but a long-term there is an opportunity. They do understand that. So they had tried to ban in India. Even RBI had issued a lot of rules and regulations which kind of hampered the cryptocurrency market, and people who were like using cryptocurrency, it hurted them because a lot of banks started deplatforming a lot of cryptocurrency buyers and users. The thing went into the court, and Supreme Court came out and said that whatever RBI was doing, RBI's circular or notifications which were against cryptocurrency and the users were unconstitutional. So it is the only place in the world where a central bank lost against cryptocurrency users. So it was a very embarrassing moment for the RBI that they lost this case, and Supreme Court kind of cancelled the RBI notification on the cryptocurrency, and that gave some relaxation for the Indians who were investing in the cryptocurrency. And again, most of the users in India in crypto who are using cryptocurrency are only for investment and speculation purposes. So after that Supreme Court judgment, RBI kind of took a step back. Banks also kind of took a step back. But then a government in 2021-22 came up with a taxation which are very harsh. and it almost treats investing in crypto as a gambling. So there is 30% tax on capital gains, no loss set off. Every time you transact, like buy or sell cryptocurrency, you have to pay 1% TDS. So a lot of this taxation rules are like government has made sure that they want to discourage the use of cryptocurrency and penetration of cryptocurrency within the Indian market. But despite that, as I said, Indians love a lot of things which enables freedom, whether it's a physical gold, whether it's Bitcoin or crypto as well. So despite all these regulations, not regulations, but I would say despite all this high tax environment, crypto adoption has been growing in India. So it is legal to buy, hold, trade in crypto in India, but the taxation is very bad, and people are kind of still okay with that, and they still see a use case for it, and they still tolerate all this high taxation.
That means there is a lot of capital gain in cryptocurrency, despite, even after giving that 30% tax for all the transactions, etc., for cryptocurrency.
Yes, yes. India is one of the top one or two countries where crypto adoption has happened despite negative bias from the government. Vietnam is also one of the place where crypto adoption has happened very fast. China has been always a forefront on crypto adoption. So yeah, despite, and again that proves that technology is so robust that even if politicians and bureaucrats don't want, adoption is still growing.
We have recently seen huge high in cryptocurrency, and a couple of years ago there was a huge dip in cryptocurrency. Why is it so fluctuating, this cryptocurrency market?
So, as I said, it's not a regulated market, it's a free market. And again, something which is free market will always have more volatility than something which is regulated. So, whenever we see Bitcoin or crypto, we compare it with the regulated stock market or regulated other markets. And that is why we feel that Bitcoin or crypto is highly volatile, because it's a free market. Again, there has been no market which is 24/7 and global from day one. So gold also, which is global, but it is not a 24/7 market. Whereas crypto or Bitcoin, it's practically a 24/7 market. So that is why, again, it is kind of volatile. It's new. It's just 15 years old asset. So it's again the teenage kind of vibe you will get, that it's highly volatile. So yeah, and again, if you see, volatility has been decreasing. Volatility in 2024 is lesser than volatility which was there in 2014, 10 years back. So again, the volatility is kind of declining, but it will take time to asset will mature and volatility will come down as well. So you mentioned that as time passes by, the volatility will get regulated. Once that happens, what will be the risks and what will be the opportunities in terms of cryptocurrency? So once the volatility will get less, a lot of more traditional investors will get into it. It's already happening. A lot of people and a lot of institutions are going into Bitcoin through ETF. So BlackRock, which is one of the biggest AMC asset management company in US, has ETF, and a lot of corporates and SMEs and individuals are getting into Bitcoin through ETF. So what is ETF? Sorry, what is ETF? Oh, okay. ETF is exchange traded funds. And so last year, a lot of this asset management companies or mutual fund companies like BlackRock, they got a permission to issue Bitcoin ETF. So instead, they are very similar to gold ETF. So in gold ETF, you don't want to get a physical gold and take all the headache of maintaining the security of physical gold. So instead, you buy those ETF, and ETF on your behalf buys the physical gold. And they are traded on exchanges very much similar to a Facebook stock or an Infosys stock. And it kind of increases the convenience of buying gold. The only downside is that you don't get a self custody of the physical gold. So again, like BlackRock or any government can censor who can buy those ETFs or not. Like someone from India cannot buy BlackRock ETF. Again, that is something which is difficult. But they can buy physical gold or they can buy the real actual Bitcoin. So people in Germany, people in US, they can buy BlackRock Bitcoin ETF instead of directly buying Bitcoin and going through all the pain related to self custody and all those things. So it's just a financial instrument very similar to mutual fund, but better than mutual fund to buy this asset class, whether it's a physical gold or it's a Bitcoin.
So when an investor has invested money in Bitcoin or Bitcoin ETFs or gold ETFs you just mentioned, and then also DGCM, so a very diverse portfolio, how can one manage the risk of this kind of various portfolio? Because the stock market has its own ups and downs, Bitcoin has its own, cryptocurrency has its own ups and downs. So your views on it?
I get your point. So someone who has a diversified portfolio and they are into stock market, they are into gold, and they are also into crypto. So yes, all the markets has a different risk, and different risk gives the different returns. So the best way to manage this different risks is to kind of understand what you are investing into, what you are getting into, and what is your time horizon for each of these investments. So usually whenever people in India buys gold, it's for a like multi-generation, right? Physical gold, especially physical gold. So something similar I tell with respect to Bitcoin. So if you are buying Bitcoin, buy anytime there is a good occasion, whether it's a birthday, anniversary, and that is how we kind of accumulate gold as well, right? We buy gold on Diwali or during birthday or during marriage, so on and so forth. So same way, like I recommend people to buy Bitcoin during good occasions and buy it with a time horizon of multiple years, at least 5 to 10 years. That is what kind of I recommend, that only buy with money or a fund which you want to keep it for at least 5 years. So that is how you kind of manage risk. So other asset classes will have different time horizon, whether it's a stocks or mutual funds, they will have their own kind of time horizon with respect to goals that you are trying to achieve with those asset class.
So now we'll move on to your suggestion for those who would like to get into this cryptocurrency. So until now, Jinesh, you've explained everything basic about Bitcoin. Now it's about taking your personal view. So what would you suggest Bitcoin propositions or cryptocurrency propositions to those who are new in this field?
So yeah, Bitcoin is something which is very similar to gold. So what I would suggest is, if you understand gold, especially physical gold, then it becomes easier to understand Bitcoin, which is just a better version of gold. So gold, physical gold, you cannot transport over a internet or over a communication line, but Bitcoin you can transmit it over a internet. You can send it to anyone, anywhere in any part of the globe. That is something you cannot do with a physical gold. Again, if you understand physical gold, generations have been using it as a protection against inflation. Indians, especially Chinese, Turkish, they have gold in their culture and it is part of their day-to-day life. So if you understand why Indian households buys gold, Indian women buy gold, it is mostly to protect against inflation. So something for the same use, Bitcoin is also being used to protect against inflation, but it is slightly better than gold. In gold, there is no hard cap on number of kgs or tons of gold that can be produced in the world. If there is a better technology, then people will go in deep ocean to get the gold out of it, mine gold out of it. They can even go to asteroids to mine gold, and that's why like gold is slightly inferior compared to Bitcoin in that terms. Because in Bitcoin, there is a hard cap of 2.1 crore or 21 million Bitcoin. So there is not going to be more than 21 million Bitcoin in the existence. Right now, out of 21 million, 18 million Bitcoin is already mined. The remaining 3 million Bitcoin will be mined over next 100 to 150 years. So that is the proposition of Bitcoin, that it is a better version of gold. Gold has served humanity for 5,000 years in agriculture age, in the industrial era. Bitcoin will hopefully serve humanity in the digital era. So that is the proposition of Bitcoin for someone who understands gold and who has gold in their house.
So this is also should be the answer for those who are skeptical, because when somebody new wants to start investing into cryptocurrency, will also be skeptical. So it's a very good answer when you said that it's better than gold and safe, I would say, to invest in Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Is it safe to invest in cryptocurrencies or currency or not?
I would not say it's whether it is safe or not. What I would say is that make sure that before you put, let's say, even $100, get a good learning, good understanding of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. What is self custody and all those things? Because even with gold, let's say if you can't know, or if you don't know how to store gold, how to keep your gold safe, you are not going to put more than $100 or 5,000 or 10,000 rupees into it, right? First, you learn how to kind of manage physical gold. If you buy a gold from a jeweler, you buy it from jeweler and put it in a locker or in a vault. So something similar,
Yes.
you have to learn about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So first learn that thing, understand the risk, understand the volatility, and only after that put $100 or more into it. So first spend time and money on education. Even more than money, it is time. Spend some time on understanding the asset class. It's a new asset class. It's a completely different world out there. There are a lot of hackers. There are a lot of rug pulls that happens. So understand that all those things first. Learn first. Spend maybe a week or 10 days before you put $100 into Bitcoin. And as you put more dollars into crypto or Bitcoin, make sure your learning is also increasing with the dollar amount as well.
Okay. So some believe that Bitcoin acts as a hedge against inflation. What is your opinion on that, considering the recent market behavior?
Yes, it works as a inflation hedge, and it has proved so in last 10 to 15 years since its existence. If you see, every government, every central bank has been printing money, whether it's European Central Bank, Fed, RBI, Chinese Central Bank, or Japanese Central Bank. They have been printing their currencies. So that is why you see that purchasing power of dollar, Indian rupee, euro has been going down, and the purchasing power of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies has been going up. The reason is simple, it's a demand and supply. There is no limit on supply of euro or dollar or Indian rupee. Politicians and bureaucrats can print at their will, and they give freebies by doing so, by printing those money. Compare that with gold and Bitcoin. They have the cap, or they have the limitations. Gold cannot be printed by politicians and bureaucrats. That's why it has retained its value, or the purchasing power of gold has been going up. Same with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a cap of 21 million coins. It cannot be more than that, and that is why the purchasing power of Bitcoin has been going up as well. Whether you measure it with dollar or with you measure it in INR.
And then, how would you consider Bitcoin's inflation hedge potentials against the traditional assets such as bonds or other commodities?
So yeah, bonds, as I mentioned, it's bonds or FDs, like they are losing value because of the inflation. So bonds in India, which is, let's say, government bonds, gives around 7%, 6-7%, and inflation in India is also official inflation is somewhere around 6-7%. But if you see the actual inflation or the lifestyle inflation, which includes the medical expense and the education and those things, it is somewhere around 12 to 14%. So if your target is to beat that 12 to 14%, government bonds or the corporate bonds or FDs are not going to kind of help in that. So to beat that kind of inflation, 12 to 14% kind of an inflation, you either need to invest in a stock market or you need to invest in gold or cryptocurrency. So Indian stock market or the local stock market, you are kind of limiting your exposure to, or you are taking a country specific risk. So gold and crypto gives you a global diversification. So gold, again, a lot of Indian youth have gold exposure through their family. So But then crypto gives you a global exposure, like even when you don't want to increase your gold exposure. Gold again is an international asset, crypto, Bitcoin and crypto is also an international asset. So that is the advantage of Bitcoin and crypto. It gives you a global diversification as well, which is not available if you are just focused on Indian equity market as a hedge against inflation.
And what is that one most important advice you would give to those who are beginning to invest in cryptocurrency? What should they consider? I mean, in the context of India.
So the biggest risk one should understand in Bitcoin or crypto is that it is they have to learn about it. They can't just rely on some tips. They have to thoroughly research and understand how this asset class is different from the normal stock market or other asset class. And once your exposure starts increasing, once your exposure is, let's say, from $100 or 10,000 rupees, it goes to $1,000 or 80,000-90,000 rupees, you need to understand self custody of a Bitcoin. There is a term in Bitcoin called not your keys, not your coins. So this is a very important thing to learn. And what does that mean? You have to self custody your Bitcoin the way you self custody your physical gold. With stocks, it is with your broker or it is with your demat account provider. But with physical gold, the gold is with you. It's in your custody. It is your responsibility. Whether you lose that gold or whether it gets कोई चोर आके ले जाता है या whatever happens, it is your responsibility. Same as with Bitcoin. Like if Bitcoin is in your self custody, you have to make sure it is safe from the hackers. You don't lose the keys and all those things. So learn all those things. Start your journey early so that once your portfolio in Bitcoin or crypto increases from $100 to $1,000 or $10,000, you are more confident in handling that asset class.
How is the future of cryptocurrency in India? Should people really now start learning about it? Yeah, what is your view on that?
So Indian government has been saying that they cannot regulate or ban Bitcoin or crypto on their own because it will create more problem than it will solve the problem. So they understand the technology is something which they cannot control, and they have been saying repeatedly that all the governments globally have to come to the table so that there is no crypto heavens that are created. Otherwise, it will be a nightmare for the countries who are trying to ban it unilaterally. That's why Indian government has not acted unilaterally. They are waiting for like different countries to come up on a same platform, same consensus to kind of regulate it. So this is my personal view that the way Facebook, the way internet has gone global, we don't now use post office, right? But like we use email, we use Facebook, we use WhatsApp. So the Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency are the next block in that. Like all these things have become an application on our mobile. We use WhatsApp, we use Signal, we use Messenger, we use Telegram. So instead of just using the old BSNL landline, now we have multiple options, right, to communicate with someone on the other side of the world. Something similar will happen with the currency. Our mobile will have multiple currencies. It will have Indian rupee, UPI will be there. Even CBDC, e-rupee will be there. But along with that, there will also be Bitcoin and Ethereum and meme coins might also be there. So people will have multiple options which our grandfathers and fathers didn't used to have with respect to currency. So that is something kind of my view on the long term of crypto, not just in India, but even globally.
So you've given a lot of advice for somebody who would like to start investing in cryptocurrency. I think the first and foremost thing is to research and invest in educating oneself, in knowing the cryptocurrency market and the dynamics of it. What would a 5-year plan should be for somebody who wants to invest in crypto? Let's say a stepwise, or I would say what I mean is a strategy, a 5-year strategy to invest in a cryptocurrency for a beginner, and again in context of India?
So 5 year plan would be that, okay, let's say January is your first month and the first year. I would say focus, like just put 500 or 1000 rupee in Bitcoin. Don't go anything below Bitcoin. Don't go for Ethereum or other meme coins. Start with Bitcoin, put 1000 rupees in Bitcoin. Learn about self custody, send it to your friend, send it to your someone who's outside India, outside like just do a trial transaction of $10 or $5 and learn about the technology. Get a feel or hang of a technology, how it is working. Get that going first. After that, let's say once you get comfortable with it, maybe put like another 5,000-6,000 rupees and get more understanding on how to withdraw it from the exchanges, where to buy it and all those things, where to sell it, where to buy it. Get understanding of different infrastructural or players who enable you to buy Bitcoin and sell Bitcoin. So there are a lot of exchanges in India. Understand pros and cons of those exchanges before you put a significant amount there. So that is something I would focus on for next like 4 to 5 months or 6 months, learning all those things. Then like once the amount is more than 10,000, more than like let's say 50-60,000, learn about, you would already know about the self custody and those things. Then spend some time and money on software wallets, on hardware wallets for storing Bitcoin. That is something like I will focus on, like while my exposure to Bitcoin is somewhere around $1,000 or 50,000 rupees. Like get that thing for next 1 year. After that, maybe like now you are good at storing Bitcoin, whether it's $1,000 or $10,000 or $100,000. Now the next part is like at what time you want to invest in Bitcoin. So that is what I would suggest, that make sure like you invest DCA or do an SIP in Bitcoin at regular intervals. Or the best thing is the way we used to do it in the gold, like जब भी कोई अच्छा मौका है, like किसी का बर्थडे है, किसी का एनिवर्सरी है, like buy Bitcoin. धनतेरस है, buy Bitcoin. होली है, buy Bitcoin. Whatever, like in a small amount. And that is what like you do for the next 4 years and just wait, buy and hold. That's it. First learn during the 1 year period, like how to buy, how to safeguard it, how to sell it, understand the tax and regulatory things, and then after 1 year you just like do the SIP or the DCA of buying and hodling the Bitcoin for at least 5 years.
Thank you so much, Jinesh. And while talking with you, you in between also mentioned meme coins and Ethereum and all these coins. And I think we would also like to do one more session with you. The knowledge of cryptocurrency needs to be shared more. So we would like to record another episode with you as a part 2 episode. Yeah.
Sure. We can have a session on altcoins and meme coins in the later part.
Yes, then I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
There was a lot to learn when it comes to crypto and the future of money from Jinesh Shah. Of course, we couldn't finish to get answers of our questions in one episode, and that's why this part 2 is for you, going a little ahead and deep into the subject of cryptocurrency. Stay tuned with us.
Like, share and subscribe to our channel Vichaar Vibes.